Isaiah chapter 19, a prophecy about Egypt. An oracle concerning Egypt. See, the Lord rides on a swift cloud and is coming to Egypt. The idols of Egypt tremble before him, and the hearts of the Egyptians melt within them. I will stir up Egyptian against Egyptian. Brother will fight against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. The Egyptians will lose heart, and I will bring their plans to nothing. They will consult the idols and the spirits of the dead, the mediums and the spiritists. I will hand the Egyptians over to the power of a cruel master, and a fierce king will rule over them, declares the Lord Almighty. So, and we know that this does happen because they wanted to go against Babylon, Assyria. No, Egypt got tore up from the floor up. so, so they were displaced. So, but okay, so reading over this portion. See, the Lord rides on a swift cloud and is coming to Egypt. The idols of Egypt tremble before him, and the hearts of the Egyptians melt within them. I will stir up Egyptian against Egyptian, brother will fight against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. And so what happens is when we start depending on other things, we start blaming each other. Remember that point that I just made recently? And when things don't go correct or things don't go the way we want them to because we thought it all out, right? We start blaming, we start trying to figure out who's to blame, what's to blame, who's to blame. And we don't want to look at anything we did because we thought of it, right? Think about that. You know, when it comes to those types of thoughts, those thought processes, thinking about, well, I made all these plans and it didn't come out right, so something or someone messed it up. That can also be looked at as a sign of pride and arrogance. I know this is going to be a tough Bible study. I know. You're going to be like, and then James said in the comments. And so, but we have to talk about it because this is a book of love, and with love comes understanding of our actions, our own actions, and what they could entail. And so when we don't focus on the Lord, just like in the Old Testament, just like in the past, in our history, the people of these nations didn't focus on the Lord. They wanted to do what they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it, when they wanted to do it. And when things didn't turn out right, such as famine, etc., when the Lord kept trying to tell them over and over again through prophets, hey, and judges, hey, stop doing this. This is wrong. And kept sinning. And they would go as far as even seek out the prophet and try to kill them. When the Lord will eventually, he would say, you know what? This is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. Here you go. He'll hand it to us in a, and it's not what you wanted. Have you ever went through something and it just turned out into a complete disaster? We can utilize those things as learning tools and learning methods for both through life and spiritually. We can look and seek the Lord and say, Lord, I know I planned all of these things and everything was going well to a point. What had happened? Is it something that I didn't see? Because we can't see the future, right? Is it something that I didn't think of? Is it something that I did? And yes, it could be something about testing. We can go back to the Job, and then there'll be other things when we get in considering when we get to the New Testament, and other circumstances. But what we're referring to today is our own decisions and consequences. I'm kind of noticing that's kind of a trend for this Bible study. It's kind of these chapters, right? Because it's Isaiah. He's telling these nations, okay, you know who the Lord is, or you should have known who the Lord is. The Lord had been trying to talk to you this whole time. You refuse. And so these are what your actions have led to. And we see that consequences can happen, can and will and do happen. So the key here is focus on the Lord. Bring the Lord into all decisions. I know it sounds crazy. But try it. Trust in Him and try it. Think about it. The Lord knows, and I was thinking about this earlier. But before I go on to this point as well, what kind of thoughts or feelings come to your mind when we read over this? How does it make you feel and what does it make you think?